Ma'am, directing your attention to, again, the end of May, beginning of June 2008, did you have the occasion to meet Caylee Anthony?
Yes.
How did you first meet Caylee Anthony?
I met her through a friend at Fusion nightclub.
All right. Now, we've heard a little bit about Fusion. What is your understanding Fusion nightclub to be?
It was I believe, a sushi restaurant during the day, and then it opened up into a nightclub lounge at night.
When you met the defendant at Fusion, were you working at Fusion, or were you just a customer? Just a customer. How did you, do you know or do you remember who introduced you to Caylee Anthony?
I believe it was my friend Jenna Prentice at the time.
I'm sorry, Jenna?
Prentice.
Okay. And who is Jenna Prentice?
She was just a friend at the time.
Was she an employee at Fusion?
Not at that time.
Do you have any idea how Jenna Prentice knew Caylee Anthony?
No.
What do you recall, if anything, about first meeting Caylee Anthony?
She was happy, seemed like a nice person to be friends with.
Okay. Now, was this in May of 2008?
Yes.
All right. Did you notice anything about her demeanor, anything about her at all that struck you as odd or out of place?
No.
Other than saying hello and being introduced, did you have any other type of conversation with her at that time?
No.
Now, at some point, were you employed by Fusion?
Yes.
Okay. As what?
Shot girl.
Okay. I know it probably sounds self-explanatory, but what does a shot girl do?
At that time, the bar would give you a bottle of mixed alcohol, and you would have to go around and ask people if they wanted a shot, and they would pay for it.
All right. Did you have to pay for this alcohol?
Yes, at the end of the night.
So you paid for the liquor, it was mixed, and then you sold it?
Yes.
How would you make money doing this?
Say you sold it for $3 a shot, whatever, they charged us $40 for the bottle. Whatever you made above and beyond the $40 you kept, you gave $40 to the owner of the restaurant club.
And the rest would be yours?
Yes.
Could you sell more than one bottle of liquor a night?
I guess you could, but it was hard to sell one.
Did you participate as a shot girl at Fusion?
Yes.
Did you participate as a shot girl at Fusion on more than one occasion?
Yes.
Directing your attention to June 20th of 2008, were you working as a shot girl?
No.
Okay. How about on June 13th of 2008?
No.
Okay. How about June 27th of 2008?
Yes.
Right. On June 27th of 2008, you went to Fusion and you worked as a shot girl.
Yes.
When you did that, did you see Caylee Anthony?
Yes.
And what was your understanding, or what was your understanding of Ms. Anthony's role as it related to shot girls?
Through one of the other girls, I understood that she was the one we would go to for questions.
Okay. Questions such as?
Where to be stationed, where to go to get the information. Since this was the first night, if you had any questions, you would go to her.
Did you have any questions for her?
Not that I can recall.
Did you attend Fusion on June 20th of 2008, not as a shot girl?
Yes.
All right. Do you recall a hot body contest?
Yes.
Okay. DQ. Do you see a photograph on your monitor?
Yes.
All right, counsel. Showing you what's been marked for identification as BQ, do you recognize yourself in that photograph?
Yes.
You can take your finger and you can circle where you are.
No.
Do you recognize Caylee Anthony in that photo?
Yes.
Without drawing, can you tell me what is she wearing?
A blue dress.
Okay. All right. You see what I'm circling there?
Yes.
You said that you were not working this night,
Correct.
all right, but you were present.
Yes.
Did you speak with Caylee Anthony that night?
I'm sure I did.
Anything out of the ordinary that you recall from that, from those conversations or from speaking with her?
No.
Based upon your prior testimony, you had not yet worked as a shop girl at this establishment. Is that correct?
Correct.
Is this picture a fair and accurate representation of what you look like on June 20th of 2008, as well as Caylee Anthony?
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
Does the picture appear to be a true and accurate picture of what you and Caylee Anthony looked like on June 20th of 2008?
Yes.
Okay. And you recognize that establishment to be the Fusion nightclub?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, the state would ask to move what's been previously marked for identification of BQ into evidence, state's number 5.
Mr. Baez?
Yes, sir. We would renew our objections under 403, 803, and 404.5.
Noted in previous objections, objection will be overruled. It will be entered in evidence and you may publish it.
Thank you, sir. Did you participate in this contest in any way?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Any of the times that you saw the defendant at Fusion, did you ever notice anything about anything wrong with her demeanor? That she was upset
No.
or crying
No.
or sad?
No.
Objection, Judge.
Calls for an opinion.
It's an observation, Judge.
Overruled.
Thank you, sir. Now, you did work as a shop girl at Fusion.
Yes.
And would that be the following week after this?
Yes.
Did you have any discussions with Caylee Anthony about your role as a shop girl?
Just where to. There were certain areas that we had to attend to, and that was just pretty much all that we discussed.
Were you instructed or were you talked to about what to wear?
I don't know if it was by Caylee. I know that the girls in general wore the same thing, and I was told through someone else what we were wearing. And
when you came to work as a shop girl on the next week, on the 27th of June, did Ms. Anthony more or less pass on what you were wearing? Did she?
Objection, relevance.
Overruled. Question calls for a yes or no answer.
Yes.
Did she give you any tips on what to wear?
Not directly to me.
Okay. While you worked at Fusion, was there ever, as a shop girl, was there ever a problem that occurred while you were working?
Yes.
Can you tell us what happened?
One night there was a group, a large group of people, and somebody tried to grab one of the other shop girls, and ended up scratching her stomach.
When that happened, was Ms. Anthony made aware of that?
Yes.
And what did she, if any, what did she do, if anything?
For our safety, she had us leave for the night.
Did you ever talk to her about this issue?
Yes.
When did you speak with her?
We spoke to her on July 15th.
You say we. Was anybody else present?
Not with me. I know that there were 2 separate conversations.
But you spoke with her on July 15th.
Yes.
Was this conversation in person or over the phone?
Over the phone.
Prior to having this phone conversation with her, were you aware that she had a daughter?
No.
Did you know at that time on July 15th whether or not she was in a relationship?
Yes.
Okay. Who was she in a relationship with, to your knowledge?
Anthony Lazaro.
Okay. When you spoke with her on July 15th, did you learn that she had a child?
Yes.
How did that come about?
We had a conversation about what she would be doing that day. She had to run some errands at her job at Universal. And then she said she had to go pick up Caylee. And then that was when we established that she actually had a daughter.
Take a couple of things. Let's do first things first. She told you that she had to go to Universal.
Yes.
Prior to having this conversation with her on July 15th, were you aware that she purported to have a job at Universal?
No.
So this was the first time that you had learned that.
Mm-hmm.
You had learned that.
Yes.
Did she tell you what she did at Universal?
No.
All right. And then she had to pick up her, she told you she had to pick up her daughter.
Yes.
Did she use her daughter did she call her daughter by name?
No.
Did she tell you anything about her daughter?
Just that her birthday was the next month and that I was invited to her birthday party.
So she invited you to her daughter's birthday party the next month.
Yes.
Did you ever see Caylee Anthony outside of Fusion?
No.
And other than this one phone call on July 15th of 2008, did you have any other subsequent phone calls with her?
Not to my knowledge.
Did you ever receive a text message from the defendant?
Yes.
Do you remember when that was?
The one that I do remember was the day after that her mom had reported her to the cops, and it just asked for help looking for Caylee.
But you don't know who actually sent that text?
I do not.
I have 1 second, Judge.
Right.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Your Honor, I have no further questions.
Cross-examination?
The photograph that you saw, can we see the DQ? Sorry, good afternoon.
Hi.
Ms. Relander, pronouncing it correct?
Yes.
Ms. Relander, this day at Fusions, was there anything that happened that had anything to do with Caylee?
No.
No one saw her?
No.
No one mentioned her?
No.
There isn't anything that occurred from that night that has, as far as you can testify, to do with her death?
No.
Now, Mr. George had asked you about, Mr. George had asked you if Caylee was happy, asking your opinion on that. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Asking if she was sad, and your opinion on that.
She was not sad.
Okay. And in fact, the Caylee you knew was a nice person to you.
Yes.
She treated you with respect.
Yes.
She looked out for you and the other girls.
Yes.
And was she considered like a big sister to the girls or something like that?
Yes.
Explain that.
She always made sure that we were okay, that we were taken care of, and that we weren't in harm's way at all.
And that's because, as described by Mr. George in this incident, sometimes when people are drinking alcohol and they see a pretty girl, they may take liberties that they normally wouldn't do.
Yes.
And Casey was somewhat of the protector to prevent something like that from happening to you guys.
Yes.
Now, I'll actually withdraw that. You don't know anything that happened on June 16, 2008 as it relates to Caylee, do you?
I do not.
And you have no information to help this jury decide or know what happened to her on June 16, 2008, do you?
I do not.
Or for any other date, for that matter?
No.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Redirect.
You were, based on some of the questions that Mr. Baez had asked you about when you saw her, when that picture was taken on June 20th, 2008, did she tell you her daughter was missing?
No.
Kidnapped?
No.
That she was looking for?
No.
That she needed help?
No.
Did she give any indication to you that anything was wrong with her daughter
No.
or with her?
No.
But you testified for Mr. Baez that she acted as a protector for you.
Yes.
Thank you.
May the witness be excused? Yes. Thank you, ma'am. You may be excused.
Thank you.
My name's Erica Gonzalez. It's ERICAGONZALEZ. The whole thing. ERICAGONZALEZ.
You may proceed, Mr. George.
Thank you very much, Judge. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Afternoon.
Ms. Gonzalez, how old are you?
I am 22.
Are you a little nervous?
Yes.
It's okay. Just go nice and slow. We'll get through it. Ms. Gonzalez, are you working?
Currently, no. I'm a full-time mom.
You're a full-time mom?
Yes.
When did you become a full-time mom?
In January.
Of this year?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Can you tell the jury a little bit about your education?
I graduated from Oviedo High School, and I'm currently enrolled at the University of Phoenix, pursuing education.
Were you living here in Central Florida back in the end of May, June, and into July of 2008?
Yes, sir.
Back then, what were you doing?
I was working at Fusion nightclub.
What were you doing at Fusion?
I was a shot girl.
Was that the only employment that you had?
I believe so. I don't recall.
As a shot girl, and we've already heard a description of what you do as a shot girl, was that a nightly occurrence, or was that just once a week, or how did that work?
It was once every Friday.
Once every Friday. Did you work as a shot girl at Fusion on every Friday in June of 2008?
I believe so.
Renewing our previous objections of 403, 803, and 404.5 for the record.
Okay. Objections noted. Objections overruled at this point. No problem.
During this time frame, directing you to June of 2008, while you were working as a shot girl, did you come into contact with a woman by the name of Caylee Anthony?
I did.
Was this at Fusion?
It was.
Prior to meeting or seeing her at Fusion, did you know her beforehand?
I did not.
How did you meet Caylee Anthony?
I met her actually through one of the girls that was working at the nightclub before I worked there.
Who would that be?
Jen Apprentice.
Do you have any specific recollection of first meeting Caylee Anthony?
Not really.
Right. How about subsequent meetings? Did you have the opportunity to speak with her?
I did. We spoke, while I was a shop girl, we spoke many times.
Do you know who Tony Lazaro is?
Yes.
Who is he?
He actually was her boyfriend, and he worked at the club that we did.
Did you have an understanding as to what role, if any, Caylee Anthony played in regards to the shop girls?
She was kind of like our manager.
She a manager?
Yeah, she oversaw us, basically.
Okay. And by overseeing you, what does that mean?
Whenever we had a Friday night to go to, she would, we'd tell her what we were wearing, and if anything happened, she basically protected us.
I think this has been established by several prior witnesses already.
Response as to cumulative?
I don't believe it is, Judge. Every witness has added something new to the description of Ms. Anthony's.
As to the previous questions, objection will be sustained. So after a brief introduction, move on to something different, but this is beginning to be cumulative.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Did Ms. Anthony ever tell you what to wear?
No.
Did she ever make suggestions on what you should wear?
No.
This is the same effect, but
About the clothing.
Sustained.
So. Did you ever speak with Caylee Anthony about things outside of Fusion? For instance, did she ever tell you that she had a job?
At Fusion, when we talked about going out, and she said that she had to get it squared away and make sure that she could go out with us.
That she had what?
To get it squared away, to make sure she could go out with us, like to dinner.
Okay. Did she tell you where she worked?
Islands of Adventure.
Did she tell you what she did at Islands of Adventure?
No.
From speaking with her, did you have an understanding or a belief as to where Caylee Anthony was living during this time period?
No.
Do you know a woman by the name of Jamie Relander?
I do.
Was there, to your knowledge, ever an incident involving Ms. Relander that you brought to Ms. Anthony's attention?
I don't recall.
Were you aware that Caylee Anthony had a child?
Yes.
How did you become aware of that?
We were in the bathroom at Fusion one day, and we were all taking pictures together, and she mentioned her daughter because the way she took care of us at Fusion, I guess she kind of like made an example.
She made it, I'm sorry, I'm having a little trouble hearing with the
She made it like she was taking care of us, and she explained that she had a daughter, and that was basically it.
Did she make a connection between taking care of you guys and taking care of her daughter?
Yes.
Did she tell you anything about her daughter?
No.
Did she, for instance, did she tell you how old she was?
No.
Did she tell you her name?
No.
Did she tell you where she was?
No.
Did she tell you she was missing?
No.
Did she tell you she was kidnapped?
No.
Did she tell you that she was actively looking for her daughter?
No.
Did she say or indicate in any way that there was anything wrong with her daughter?
No.
Did she at any time ever indicate to you that there was anything going on or wrong with her?
No.
Did you ever see anything in Ms. Anthony's behavior every night that you worked at Fusion that would lead you to believe that anything was wrong?
Absolutely not.
How would you describe her demeanor when you saw her to the jury?
She was normal. I mean, she was just she was like us. You know, she had a great time. She was always happy. She always treated everyone with kindness.
Thank you very much.
Cross-examination?
May I have 1 second, Judge?
Just a second.
Did you ever, I'm sorry, did you ever have a conversation with Ms. Anthony on the phone?
I did.
Do you recall when that was?
Not exactly when it was, no.
Do you recall what that conversation was about?
We were talking about meeting up to go to dinner with all the shot girls so we could talk about what had happened the week before.
Okay, what else did you talk about?
Basically, that she was going to call me back and let me know when she could come so we can meet up. And she never called back. She did say that she was heading to the airport to pick someone up.
I'm sorry, she said what?
She was heading to the airport to pick someone up.
Did she say who?
No.
Did there come a time when you learned that Casey Anthony's daughter was missing?
Yes.
When you heard that news, what did you do?
That I heard that night, actually, that the same night I talked to her. I texted her the next day telling her if she needed anything that I would be there and just to let me know. And I made flyers for my job.
Okay. And did you receive a response?
She did respond back saying thank you and that she was really worried about Caylee.
Did she give you an explanation as to the last time she saw Caylee?
She didn't say when she saw her last, but that she was with the nanny.
That she was with the nanny?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Cross-examination?
One second, Judge. Being reminded. I'm sorry. I'll let you know. I'm having a little trouble hearing, so I apologize. Either I'm missing something or I'm thinking I'm hearing something I'm not, so I apologize. Going back
Overruled.
going back to the phone conversation you had with her, did you have any understanding that there was anybody else in the car with her? Overruled.
I don't recall, to be completely honest.
Do you recall what your phone number was at the time?
Yes.
May I have that?
I'm sorry?
May I have that?
The number?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, it's 321-439-1577.
Thank you. I'm done.
Mr. Baez, let's move on, folks. He's done.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Afternoon.
I just have a couple of quick questions for you. You stated that Casey was kind to you,
She was.
and she was nice to everyone,
Yes.
and she treated everyone with respect
Yes.
and was courteous,
Yes.
and in fact looked out for all of you girls.
She did.
And she mentioned or gave an example about her daughter when you guys were talking in the bathroom.
Yes.
And did you ever see Casey drink or get drunk?
No.
Do you have anything that can help this jury understand, or actually, let me rephrase that. Do you have any information? Did you witness or see anything as to what may have happened to Caylee that you can tell this jury?
Beyond the scope, no predicate's been laid.
Overruled.
Calls for a conclusion.
Overruled.
As far as anything.
How she died?
No.
I have no further questions.
Give me the witness be excused. Thank you, ma'am. You may be excused. State may call the next witness.
Your Honor, may the state request a 5-minute break?